Husband uses Sharia to deny Iranian female coach travel to championships. According to the Iranian media, the women's Alpine ski team traveled to Italy for the World Championships without their coach, Samira Zargari. Zargari's husband barred her from attending the championships with her team. Under Iran's Sharia laws, husbands may stop their wives from leaving the country. She told the Associated Press that her husband is currently in a relationship with her best friend. He asked her to consent to divorce. I didn't, and he blocked me, said Zargari. Then continued to say that her husband is, quote, always laughing at my job and my team. Zargari has said she wants to launch a campaign to change the law.
Okay. Do you guys want to comment?
It's really sad that this woman worked so hard to go to this championship, and this thing, it's almost like really juvenile retaliation. Well, you won't give me the divorce, so I'm going to stop you from doing your job and attending this really important event. But my question is, why does she not want to divorce this guy? He seems like kind of jerky.
That was my question. I mean, it's none of my business.
It's none of my business either. And she may have reasons that we don't know about. But geez,
I would want to
get rid of him.
No, guys, it's not divorce stuff. Is like there's financial stuff. There's child custody. You might lose. Okay, well, can I finish speaking? You might lose access. I mean, the laws in Iran are not good for mothers when it comes to access to their children. There might be inheritance issues. There might be there might be. It's not as complicated as easy as. I mean, even in Western countries, divorce is not as simple. Like, oh, you hate this guy, well, divorce him. Even then, there's so many complications or other things that then when we talk about a country in Iran, so we don't know her story. It might actually be very. She might have really good reasons why she's not saying.
Oh, absolutely. I was just simply saying he sounds kind of jerky.
You think?
No, true. It's terrible. A husband, according to the law, a husband's woman decides if she may obtain a passport, and she can only use that passport to leave the country if her husband is either with her or has approved her travel plans. He is not required to justify any decision he makes, nor does he have to inform his wife of those decisions.
Yeah, actually, it's really bad. You show up at the airport, right, and you're about to take off, and the agent, you give your passport, and the agent is like, "Oh, sorry, you're mamnu al-khuruj," and it means you're banned from leaving the country. And you could be like, and that's what they say, and you're like, wait, what? And yep, I see a notice on my computer, on my desk, top, on my screen, I see that your husband has banned you from leaving the country, and it's just it's really bad because. The examples, I think this is one of those examples, but I'm not sure. But the examples I've seen is the husband doesn't even tell the wife that you can't leave. You just your entire team is leaving, and you're in the airport, so excited about you're about to leave with your team, and the agent is like, "Sorry, you're stuck here. You can't leave the country."
It must be so humiliating.
I was about to say, it sounds like a way to publicly humiliate someone and to keep them under your thumb. But I have a question with regard to that. So, in countries like Israel, but speaking of divorce, right, the man's the only one who can grant the divorce, and he doesn't have to give a reason, but the wife can appeal to a rabbinical court to amend the decision or in other things like that. So is there some sort of Sharia court that the wife could appeal to?
No, it's a law. You can't.
Regardless of whether he's being arbitrary or punitive.
No,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter. However, one thing Susanna just mentioned, that how humiliating this is. It is humiliating even more than a lot of people think oh, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Islamic country, whatever. The thing is that this is not culturally acceptable in Iran, right? Like it is the law, but Iran is very Islamic, but the culture is not anti. Like I'm not trying to be this Persian that be like, ew, Persian culture is so great. Like
there's nothing you hate more than that.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to be like this nationalist defending Iranian culture, kind of like cringe stuff. But it is true that Iranian culture is like not anti-woman, and this is looked down upon by society a lot. There's, you know, for example, like a lot of, you can see, for example, in Iran, it's legal for men to have more than one wife, but it's really hard for you to find men having more than one wife. Like it's really frowned upon, right? So the reason why I think like this would be also like what Susanna was right about how humiliating this is because, you know, you're next to your friends, all of a sudden realizing that your husband did this to you. This is like, for something for it to be so rare and so unusual, it's just like, it's so like I would assume it's just like, what the hell? Like this is like some people, I saw some people were commenting and saying like, of course this happens, it's Iran. I'm like, no, this is weird. Like for especially for a woman like this with such high status and somebody that is so celebrated as like a national treasure and stuff. Like your husband, who is like nothing compared to you when it comes to accomplishments, just gets to tell you that you can't leave. You're like a national treasure, and your good for nothing husband, who has like accomplished nothing compared to you, just gets to tell you that you can't leave because he's your husband. Like it's so, yeah. Susanna, you want to say something?
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight this news, was to talk about how this is, although it's a law, it is allowed legally, it is not culturally copacetic. Oh, there was something else that I wanted to say. I think, so she was saying, quote, "I'm so sad, I can't believe it," she said, further explaining that she was looking for the International Ski Federation for help. In a statement to the Associated Press, the International Ski Federation said that it sympathizes with any team member who cannot travel to our World Championships. However, we cannot, the FIS is also not in any position to dispute the laws of any given nation. Like I said earlier, she wants to start a campaign to change the law. Although she acknowledges that the law which enables husbands to block their wives' passports is troubling, she still loves Iran. Women's rights activists have attempted to educate women regarding existing laws and their rights via social media. For example, they advise them on how to make prenuptial arrangements, according to the members of Iran's Committee on Human Rights Reporters, Shiva Nazar-Ahari, who spoke to DW News. Quote, "is referred to as conditions of the marriage," she stated. "It allows women to make their own decisions in life after the marriage ceremony." So they're like educating women on like how if you arrange the prenup in the right way, like you can still have your rights. However, those who promote informing women of their rights in Iran risk their own freedom. Sociologist Najmeh Vahedi and lawyer Hoda Amid arranged workshops where they would educate women about their legal rights. For example, these prenuptial arrangements. They were arrested in October 2019 and kept incarcerated in the infamous Evin prison in Tehran for more than 60 days. They were eventually released in bail. They both received guilty verdicts in December 2020 for collaborating with the hostile American government against the Islamic Republic of Iran on women and family issues. One of them was sentenced to 8 years and another was sentenced to 7 years for educating women about their legal rights.
So it is simply as a message to her individually, but collectively, it's a message to women in Iran saying, you know, you're under our thumb and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think the humiliation is part of that, you know, and what you were saying, Armin, about how it's like not a part of Persian culture. I was just thinking that there's a politeness and, you know, the way you treat people, every time I've experienced that, this seems so anti the polite, kind, you know, way that I've experienced Persian culture, that's very important, that you don't want to humiliate someone in public. And I feel like that's why that sounds like it's part of it. But in the big picture, it's something that you don't hear about with respect to Iran. So it's important that you highlighted it, because we know about all these guardianship laws in Saudi Arabia. Well, this is the same thing, in, you know, that the man has total control over your movements, supported by the government.
You're muted.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting.
I just muted myself.
It's very interesting that you say that, because it's I think this is an Asian thing. I mean, in Iran it's called aberu, like losing your aberu, and I think the best translation for it is like the opposite, saving face. I think that would be a good translation, right? Saving face, and like you know, avoiding humiliation. It's a very big deal, but not just in Iran. I think this is mostly like like all over Asia. This is a big
deal. You're right.
Yeah.
My daughter, her best friend growing up was Korean, and that was really important in the Korean culture too. And sometimes I realized that I messed up because I didn't catch it quick enough as to, you know, what was happening.
Yeah. By the way, I was trying to find the video of an example of a woman in the airport being told that she is Mamnu Khuruj, but I can't. I know I saw it somewhere, but I was going to show it to you guys, but I can't. Sorry, I can't find it.
What does Mamnu Khuruj translate to?
Mamnu means banned. Khuruj means exit.
Okay.
Ban, so means banned from exit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're banned from. Yeah. Basically, you get told you're banned from exit. Yeah. Anyways, yes.
I thought of one more thing I wanted to say. I'm sorry, but so the Federation of Skiing, I feel like they could have made a little bit better statement. Like, of course they can't do anything. They're a skiing federation. It's not like they can, you know, argue the case in court or, you know, but they could have said, you know, that something to the effect of condemning the laws that, you know, or equality, or, you know, free movement of all human beings without restrictions based on gender.
Yeah.
You know, there's diplomatic ways that they could have said that they disagreed with this. And everyone's so afraid to say it, you know. Oh, you know, of course they don't have any influence over the law, but they can make a public statement that gender discrimination, which is what this is, right? So men have special powers that women don't have, and, you know, is wrong.
Yeah. Miriam Namazi calls it sex apartheid or gender apartheid. And I think that's a very
apt word. That's the word I was looking for. I said discrimination, but yeah, it's gender apartheid.
Right. So the thing is, like, the only country worse than Iran, I think, with this is Saudi Arabia. I don't like Saudi Arabia is, so the guardianship makes it so that, I don't know if it's changed recently or not, but you can't even go into the goddamn streets without your husband's permission.
Or the doctor. You could have an illness and he could deny you from visiting the doctor.
Oh, but so Iran is the second worst country when it comes to guardianship laws. And I think, if I remember correctly, unless I have changed that, you can't also go to higher education without your husband's permission. So your husband can't deny you from going to high school, but he can deny you from going to university, if I remember correctly, and if it hasn't been changed. So if you want to pursue higher education and your husband is not cool with that, he can bar you from doing that in Iran as well.
Wait, where can you go skiing in Iran?
Alborz.
Is it good skiing?
I don't know. I don't ski.
Oh, okay.
But
they have mountains in Iran.
Yeah, it's very close to Tehran, and it's like they have I heard people, foreigners who went skiing in Iran, liking it. So I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they were just being like polite because they didn't want to. They were like, "Oh yeah, it was great." But I heard a lot of good things. But maybe it was because it was bad, but they didn't want to be like, I don't know. I don't ski, so I have no idea. I wouldn't be able to tell.
Well,
yeah.
I want to go to Iran someday, but I'm not going to ski.
Yeah.
Wait, Rivka, do you ski?
I've never skied in my life.
I need someone to go skiing with. Damn it.
When I was younger, I was a dancer, and I was a dance minor in college, and they used to not let you ski. You had to sign a contract so that you wouldn't break your leg and then ruin the whole show.
It's amazing to me. Sometimes people ask me like, "Oh, it snows in Iran." I'm like, "Yeah, we had like in Tehran, there were times that we had to like stay at home for a whole week because we couldn't open our doors because of the amount of snow. Like there were times like that's how much it snowed sometimes. It's amazing. People are like, "Oh, Islam, Arab desert." So wait, snow? That doesn't make sense. Like I remember when
camels in the snow, like really?
Yeah.
I remember like when I had like some pictures from some activists inside Tehran. It was snowing, and people were like, "This is obviously fake. This can't be Tehran. It's snowing." Okay. And also subscribe to our newsletter, because if we get removed from all these platforms, at least we could reach out to you. And guys, by the way, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a free copy of Where's your copy, Susanna? Get it. We're doing promotion. You get a free. It's not even promotion. It's free. Okay, so if you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description, you get a free copy of Why There's No God. Come on, like I'm handing it out for free. Okay, it's a bestseller on Amazon, and you get it for free. So subscribe to our newsletter, and you get a free copy of Why There's No God sent to you. Link in the description.